Cross-generation games are once again in the spotlight, and whether you love them or you hate them, you better get used to them because they might be around for a lot longer than you think. What's up guys, back with another video, and today I want to discuss cross-gen titles, one of the necessary evils of every console generation. Cross-gen titles aren't a new concept. I mean, we had cross-generation games for the 8th generation of consoles, and we had cross-generation games for the 7th generation of consoles. But for some reason, they seem to be discussed a lot more in detail for this generation. There's this growing concern that cross-generation titles are holding back the hardware, they're not living up to their fullest potential, you're missing out on features, you're missing out on frame rate, you're missing out on resolution, etc, etc. I think one of the main reasons people get so concerned about cross-generation games holding the consoles back is because of the expectations set by developers. We've heard numerous times from several developers about the amount of graphical horsepower these new consoles have and all of the amazing things they're able to do and how great the graphics will be, and that gets people hyped up. I mean, who wouldn't be hyped up over next-gen titles, true next-gen titles? Up until this point, most people pretty much assumed that cross-generation games would be a thing until 2022, 2023, when the development of next-gen titles really ramps up. Until then, you might see a couple of next-gen titles sprinkled in like Returnal, Ratchet & Clank, Hellblade, Halo Infinite. However, this whole assumption got called into question when earlier this week it was confirmed that God of War Ragnarok will actually be a cross-generation title. Not only that, but Gran Turismo 7 will also be a cross-generation title. In fact, the decision to make Gran Turismo 7 a cross-generation title was pretty recent. News like this makes it extremely difficult to pinpoint when exactly cross-generation games will stop being developed. It turns out that a lot of games that we thought were next-gen titles were actually cross-generation titles this entire time. And what makes matters even worse is that both Microsoft and Sony have been pretty wishy-washy when it comes to determining which games are cross-gen and which games are truly next-gen. It's starting to become pretty apparent that the decision to make these games either cross-gen or next-gen is a lot more complicated than we think. There's probably a lot of factors that Microsoft and Sony have to think about now when it comes to making these titles. One of the main factors is that not everybody has a next-gen system. The pandemic, the chip shortage, and scalpers have made it extremely difficult to get a hold of any of these consoles. I don't really think Microsoft and Sony took into account how much demand there would be for these new systems. The install bases for both the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series consoles probably isn't saturated with enough players to really justify making a bunch of next-gen titles right now. Another factor is the fact that PlayStation 4 and Xbox One install bases are still big enough that it doesn't justify leaving them out in the dust. For Sony and Microsoft, leaving those players out is money lost. So in some cases, it might not make sense to make certain titles only next gen. Maybe when enough new consoles flood the market, Sony and Microsoft will be a little bit more willing to push out more next gen games. But considering it's still pretty hard to get a new console, I don't know if I see that happening anytime soon. So as far as knowing how long cross-generation games will really last, with everything going on, we might never know. But hey, that's just what I think about cross-generation games. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like this video if you liked it, consider subscribing, and if you do, make sure you hit that notification bell so you never miss out on all of these awesome videos. And until next time, pieces, deuces, and everything in between.